All right, with the new updates, I wanted to make this video to go through everything you need to know about EzAlgo V10 and Oscillator V5. These are our own proprietary indicators inside of the Easy Trades Pro Discord. So if you'd like access, be sure to click the first link in the description below, and let's jump right into this video. So now that you've got EzAlgo, right, how do you use it the most effectively, right? What inputs do you use? What settings should you use, etc.? So we're going to start from the very beginning, all right? What EzAlgo actually is. This is a price action indicator to help you build confluences in your trading. This is not some sort of automated trading strategy where you can simply follow buy and sell signals. If that's what you're looking for, then unfortunately you are in the wrong place, all right? We've went ahead and created a price action tool. We're all about price action here at Easy Trades. Anyone that you see preaching anything other than price action is sadly mistaken. So that's number one. And you have everything that you could need in a price action tool all in one place, all right? We have the multi-time frame support and resistance zones, the auto golden pocket, automatic trend lines, just to name a few of our confluences. And then of course our buy and sell signals, which are proprietary. And these are some of the best buy and sell signals in the game. But remember, you don't want to follow these buy and sell signals alone. You want to use other confluences as well. Let's go into the settings here and I'll run through the inputs for you guys so you know exactly what to use and how to use them. All right, to start, right, the buy and sell signals, I like to keep the sensitivity on default. Now the sensitivity will dictate how fast these signals will appear. If we increase the sensitivity, you can see that the signals are a lot more delayed, but do a better job of showcasing the overall trend, right? You can see on a 3.7 sensitivity, you would still be in this sell signal all the way from here in the middle of August, right? But again, those signals are slightly delayed. The problem with this sensitivity is that sometimes you'll get signals like this, where a candle will close right here at resistance, and then of course price drops, immediately after that buy signal. Yes, it does switch to a sell signal, but again, this is a little bit more delayed, which can be useful on higher time frames. Personally, I like to stick to the default sensitivity, which is going to be 1.7 in this case. Now, the signal's offset dictates how far away from the candle these little buy and sell emblems are. Again, this is totally up to you. I like to keep the signals offset on 2. If you were to move this down to 1, they'll appear a little bit closer to the candle. Again, this is just slight customizations here. It doesn't change any of the actual coding or the inputs. It's solely to change the appearance. All right, next, the multi-time frame support and resistance zones. Now, this is the bulk of our indicator. This is kind of like the bread and butter of EzAlgo, right? You see we have these automatic support and resistance zones that are to a T, right? If you were to manually draw support and resistance zones yourself, this is probably how you would draw them, right? If you're a skilled technical analyst, these will line up exactly with your own manually drawn zones. This portion of the indicator has went through a lot of development since we've started EzAlgo, 1.5 years ago or so, actually approaching 2 years now. This has changed quite a bit, but we are happy with the final result. Now, the reason we have these zones as opposed to a singular line is that a support or resistance is an area on your chart. It's not an exact level, right? If you're looking for an exact level, maybe you'd say, okay, this is support right here. Now you're looking for a swing failure, which is a totally different strategy than actual support and resistance. So a support and resistance area on your chart is going to be a zone. Now we've also added customizations for the zones, right? We have a multi-time frame feature. You can actually change how many levels are on your chart at once. For example, if I set this to 7, you'll see that another resistance zone is drawn out for you. But honestly, I like to keep it at 5 or so. Now this is only a maximum of whatever this number is, right? So if this is at 7, you'll see we have 6 resistance zones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the maximum number of zones that will be on your chart. If there are not enough support and resistance zones in our certain look back period, you might not even get up to that number of levels on your chart, which is for good reason, right? We're not going to plot support and resistance zones that aren't actually there. So again, this is dependent on the look back period and the time frame that you're choosing. You'll also notice that I'm using the 4-hour support and resistance zones, but it's appearing as 8 on my chart. You can't show lower time frame support and resistance zones than the time frame of your choosing, right? So if I'm on the 8-hour time frame, I'm obviously not going to be able to show 1 minute support and resistance zone. So this will automatically, by default, if it's on a lower time frame than the time frame of your chart, it will automatically go to the time frame of your chart. But I think by default, this will be at chart. And you'll also see we have 3 different options for this multi-time frame support and resistance. So if you're on a lower time frame trying to scalp, maybe let's say on the 5-minute time frame, you can use 15-minute and 1-hour support and resistance zones to help build confluence, right? If you see multiple different time frame support and resistance zones lining up, that gives you a good area on your chart to take a long or short position. You can also change the width of these zones. If you want the zones a little bit bigger, you can change the width to, let's say, 2. It'll make the area size of the zone a little bit bigger. You can also change the customization of the time frame and price. If you don't want to show, let's say, the price for some reason, you can simply toggle that off, and then change the offset. If you want the label a little bit more to the right, you can do so. Again, these are very minor customization aspects that we've implemented. It does not change the overall code. It does not change how these levels appear. So now that you understand the support and resistance zones, how do you use these effectively? You can see we're bouncing from support, another bounce from support, rejection from resistance, rejection from resistance. Even if you're entering on a lower time frame, you want to keep in mind these higher time frame support and resistance zones. My favorite time frame to use is actually the 6-hour. So the 6-hour support and resistance zones are really the bread and butter in my opinion. However, you don't want to enter on a higher time frame. If you're trying to scalp, you can use these zones and go down to a lower time frame for the entry, but you always want to keep these levels in mind. Now these zones create many opportunities for you to take potential trades at. As you can see, we had the 6-hour support zone and we had lost that zone. So I have a trade idea right off the bat that if price comes up to this resistance zone, I can look for an underside test there of that zone. And I believe we have fib confluence as well, right? We have a golden pocket, a 0.5 fib level overlapping that 6-hour resistance zone. So this would be a nice underside test. Maybe you want to go down to a lower time frame to get that entry. All right, next we have the auto golden pocket. So the auto golden pocket adds another great confluence to your trading. If you don't know what the golden pocket is, I've made numerous videos in the past on these levels. The golden pocket consists of the 0.618 and the 0.65 fib retracement levels. Now, these levels are respected the most out of any fib level in my opinion. These work best in trending markets. For example, if you are in a clear uptrend or a clear downtrend, you can use these fib levels on any time frame to help you find an entry. Again, you don't want to use these levels alone, but if they're overlapping a key support or resistance zone, it adds a ton of confluence. We also have 3 multi-time frame features for the auto golden pocket. All right, next we have the trend lines, which are a new feature implemented in the EzAlgo V10. If you're a trendline trader, these are pretty simple to use. The 1 bounce from the trend line, 2 bounces. At that point, the trend line will be formed, and then you can look for longs on a retest of this trend line. As you can see, we bounce from it again. Maybe you want to go to a lower time frame for entry. Again, comes down to that trend line, and then we bounce once again. Finally, we break the trend line with that sell signal, and price goes down. Comes up again, retests this trend line, right? 1, 2, 3 taps, and then price goes down. You actually had multiple entries here, and we had confluence with this resistance zone, and price will fall. So again, the trend line adds a great sense of confluence to your trading. When I use trend lines, there's a few different ways I'll use them in my trading. I don't actually trade the break of a trend line, right? Because a lot of the times, even though in this case it worked out, we got that sell signal and price dropped, you'll see that price will break the trend line and then immediately reclaim it, stopping out all of the retail who took a short on the break. So there's a few different ways I like to use the trend lines. I'll look to take longs as price is testing the trend line, but I want to see other confluence. I want to see some sort of breakout and retest of this support zone as confluence, and then the trend line just helps validate my idea. And the other way I like to use trend lines is a breakout and retest. So in this case, I wait for a clear breakdown, wait for price to come up again, tagging that trend line that we had just broken, and then look to take a short position. But again, I want to see a resistance zone as confluence. So those are the 2 main ways I like to use trend lines. Don't be that person that trades strictly trendline breakouts. I find that most of the time you'll end up as exit liquidity, especially if you are a new trader and don't really understand price action. So like I said, we have the trend lines and then the broken trend lines for that reason. If you just want to show current trend lines that haven't been broken, you can toggle that on as well. As you can see currently, we don't have any current trend lines on the 8-hour time frame. Here on the 12-hour time frame though, you can see we have a trend line here. So in this case, right, I'd want to see price come up, maybe reclaim this resistance zone as support, and then look for a short position right around here in the beginning of October, testing that trend line once again, and an underside test of this key resistance zone. All right, below that, we have the candle coloring. Pretty simple, right? All the candles in a buy signal will be blue. all the candles in a sell signal will be red. This is customizable in the style here if you want to change any of these colors. Pretty self-explanatory. Below that, we have the moving averages, right? We have the simple moving average and then the exponential, which you can toggle between. I don't personally use the EMAs, but if you want to use them, you can toggle them on here in settings. Again, we'll just add another piece of confluence to your trading. So you'll notice that all of our inputs are meant to be used as confluence, right? We've combined pretty much every technical aspect of trading into one indicator. All right, below that, we have the reversal settings, right? We have the reversal signals here, which are these little blue and red X's. Now, these can be used as your entry point if you have other confluences. As you can see, bullish divergences. We get some reversal buy signals that could be your entry, or you can use them as take profits. So for example, let's say I took a short position right around here on this EzAlgo sell signal. Maybe I could take some profit here at the reversal buy signal, because now I could be expecting a move upwards that I don't want to be in if I'm in a current short position. All right, below that, we have the reversal bands. Now, the reversal bands are probably the most underrated aspect of EzAlgo. These are our very own bands that you see on your chart here. And you'll see that price does a great job of respecting these bands, especially on a higher time frame. And you can go down to a lower time frame and look for entries as price is approaching these reversal bands. These work well, especially in ranging markets. As you can see, we are in a downtrend here, but every time price has touched the reversal band, even on a 12-hour, if you were to go down to a lower time frame to get some scalp longs, you could do so. But again, those work best in a ranging market. All right, below that, we have the volume profile. So this is pretty standard. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. But again, this will just show you where the volume is in the market, again, depending on your time frame. If we go down to a 1-hour time frame, you'll see that the point of control is right up here, right? The point of control is where a majority of the volume is in this given range. As you can see, I chose a terrible day to make this video because the market has dumped all day. But if we didn't have this market dump, let's say we reverse right around here, you could look for short positions on a retest of the point of control. Something else I like to do is to take longs below the point of control, targeting that as a take profit, or shorting above the point of control. Price will oftentimes gravitate towards the point of control, as again, that's where a majority of the volume in the markets lies. All right, and below that, we have the trend dashboard. Now, this will be on the top right of your screen. It will show you the current bias on some higher time frames. So if you like to trade with a daily bias, you can use the trend dashboard to help give you an idea of what the market is doing on higher time frames. If it's extremely bearish, you'll see we have these two little rocket emojis. If it's bearish, but it's not super bearish, you'll see one rocket emoji. So you can see as of right now, pretty much everything is bearish. Now, that doesn't mean to necessarily only enter short positions. If you're a trend reversion trader, you actually might look to take longs when the trend dashboard is bearish, because you understand that there could be a reversion coming in the near future. But if you're a trend trader, maybe you're entering scalps on a 5 to 15 minute time frame, and you notice that the overall bias on a higher time frame is bearish, then you can look for short positions. And last but not least, we have our real-time momentum divergence oscillator. This is pretty simple, right? We have a wave trend showing you the momentum in the markets. We have these buy and sell dots when the momentum flips in the overbought and oversold zones is what we call them. And then our real-time divergences. If you don't know what a divergence is, if you join our education channel in the free Discord, we have a full PDF on what divergences are and how to trade them. To keep it short, it's when price and momentum are inversely correlated, meaning if price is making a lower low, right? As you can see, price is making a lower low, but momentum is increasing to the upside. You can also see volume is increasing to the upside. That will tell you that long positions are valid and that we could be expecting some push upwards in the near future. Now, as far as alerts go, if you come in here to alerts, you can set it to either the EzAlgo V10 or the EasyOscillator V5. We have pretty much every alert that you can imagine. Now, the main strategy I use with these indicators is support and resistance zones. I am a support and resistance trader. I oftentimes like to use higher time frame zones, like I mentioned, and then going down to a lower time frame for that entry using other EzAlgo confluences. Now, you'll notice that I'm using the Heikin Ashi candles. These indicators work with the Japanese candles as well. It's totally up to you. As you can see, if I go to the standard Japanese candles, all of the inputs are the same. So it doesn't matter. It's totally up to you on what candles you like to use. Usually when I'm charting setups, I'll use the standard Japanese candles. I want to see the true price action. And then as price is approaching a zone that I'm looking at, I'll go down to a lower time frame for entry using the Heikin-Ashi candles, using the buy and sell signals, using some of the other confluences that we have to find that perfect entry. Well, that's everything you need to know about EzAlgo V10 and EasyOscillator V5. We have some major things coming inside of the pro community very, very shortly. A ton of things are in development at the moment, which I can't talk about, but you guys will see very shortly. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more trading content, and I'll see you guys next video.